incredible instructor, Peter Heerstop. He does this drawing marathon, and he's my hero, and we're really good friends. And I started drawing. And he knew my background. And he said, don't bring your fashion illustration with. I said, okay. And so I didn't. And so I'm able to do both. It's two different worlds. So when I am doing my personal work and working from a model without a fashion intent, it's more from my soul. It's more about trying to get my soul and my guts on the page with the figure, and it's more emotionally driven. And when I do fashion, it's about beauty and light and graciousness and elegance, and I love that. So there's a dark side and a light side. So I would say my personal work is the dark side, and my fashion is the light side, and they play off one another very well. The yin and yang, and it's great to have that ability. I try not to bring my fine art into my commercial work because it's a little bit more sacred to me, honestly. But there is, I do try to find a luminosity in the darkness of my personal work. And I work with unorthodox materials, rubber, liquid latex, poured enamel, reflective glass. You know, I try to push the envelope a little bit with that work. So when I go into a drawing class and there's a light blot, I won't do fashion. Now, fashion drawing for me, I can do that brush stroking thing, and we've been in classes together, and I will never do that. You know, it's more about feeling, and I really want to feel that line and how it sculpts around the figure, and what's that shape. You know, I will do some of my positive and negative shape, but again, that's challenging me, but it's not from a perspective of this has to be beautiful. It's more from the other end. It's I don't care.
Is it hard to turn it off and on? Like
no, it's not. It's actually, no, it's not. It took a while. It did take a while, quite frankly.
How do you prepare yourself or get yourself back into, like if you're doing fashion illustration,
how do I prepare myself for which?
Like if you're doing fashion illustration and then you switch over to
drawing fine art.
Yeah, fine art illustration.
It's my medium. You know, I use oil stick, which isn't to say I couldn't use oil stick to draw toner, but I use oil stick, and I use a really clumsy brush. I gesso the paper a little bit. I prepare grounds. You know, I love color field painting, that school, and mixed medium. And I will draw with charcoal, and I really press my brush. You know, I ruin brushes. I press my brush into the page to scar it and mark it, and it's about life. You know, those drawings personally are about life and an emotional experience, and that's what I draw upon. And when I do fashion drawing, it's more about my ideal of what beauty, elegance, and fashion is about, style. So it's a bit more contrived, to be quite frank. I want somebody to look at it and say, ah, it's beautiful. That's what I do. And that's my goal. And my personal work, I don't care what people think. It's not about them. That's about me. That's the yes.
So the difference is very distinctive. There is no in between. There's no.
I don't think it's very distinctive. I mean, people, Caesar, you've seen my personal work, and Ken, you know my personal work. Do you think there's a differentiation? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's because my goal is to create work from my soul, and obviously I'm not a 6 foot tall fashion figure, you know. So it's more about personal experiences and life and lust and love and loss and that's the goal. And whereas this is, I have a fascination with fashion. You know, I love it from a distance, and so I'm trying to capture them and beauty. You know, I love beauty and elegance and chicness and simplicity. And that's what I love it. I love capturing it. I love fashion illustration. It took me a very long time to you know, kind of mesh the two, that I can do both. For a very long time I refused to, I didn't think I could paint. So what happened was I went back to school, I became a teacher, and I wanted to know how my students felt in teaching, you know, learning something. And since I had studied everything in illustration at SVA, I mean, you guys, they owe me so much money. And for years, I never studied fine arts because I was very intimidated about fine arts. I didn't understand the lingo, the art speak. abstract art, abstract expressionism, and I was intimidated, and I thought, well, let me study something I never took before, and I enrolled in a fine arts class at SVA with Judy Manarino called Drawing Larger Than Life. And we entered the room. I thought it was safe because I would be drawing, I knew how to do that. And we entered the room, and she had put up, they were like 5 foot, like 4.5 foot by 6 foot sheets of paper on the wall. And came in, very red-headed woman, good energy, like a no, and she said, here, she gave us these bamboo sticks, 4 foot long bamboo sticks. She had taped big chunks of charcoal at the end. She said, go stand in front of that paper, we're going to draw. And I thought, okay, this is cool. And then she said, well, I'm coming around, I'm going to put something on you. She came and put blindfolds on us. So we're standing there blindfolded in front of these like sheets of paper, and she said, now, I'm not getting fresh, but I'm going to put something in your hand. Put your hand out. And you put her hand out, and she put objects in my hand. She said, now draw what you feel. And that sentence, that directive totally broke down all my notions of making work. I was such an apostle of draw what you see or it isn't valid. And all of a sudden I was lost as an artist because I had to draw something that wasn't, visceral. It wasn't there in front of me, tentative. And I thought, you know what, I can't lose. No one can tell me what I'm feeling. And I was a born-again artist. And I went back, that started me on my path to fine arts. And I took another class after that because I was making paintings and they were very pretty. Very David Sallie diptychs and triptychs and, very homoerotic guys and flowers and beautiful. And I actually sold a lot of them. But they were empty. They didn't have any content. And I wanted to find out how to get my voice into my work. So I took a course called the Artist Journal at SVA, where each week you would be given a premise and you had to come up with something that answered that premise. And through that class, I started painting my life, experiences. And people came around and said, it's beautiful. Are you serious? And these are people I respected. And it taught me that if I was true to my soul in my personal work, that I would get an audience. Not a big audience, I don't make that work for money, it's just personal. But I certainly would get an audience. So that's the difference. All right? So I think, Tomo, what are we? Should I just keep drawing? Are you girls okay? More drawing? Because I think if I draw, I can talk and you can ask me questions. Yeah, that's good. Why don't you give me that way since that's great. Yeah, the hands can go here, I think, and just, lean into it a little bit. That's beautiful. That's gorgeous. So, how can you not be inspired with these girls posing in front of you? Now, you want to draw, don't you? I know. I know it. Dana showed up, I think, in summer 2009. I was like, oh my God.